We need to talk today, now, about the single biggest lie ever sold to our generation. A lie that keeps you stuck in a cycle of feeling good without ever really doing great. You know what that is? The whole industry, books, seminars, motivational content, screams about one powerful mantra. Believe in yourself. Build your confidence. Be more confident. And we, like chicks losing a mother, we nod, we buy, we're trying, we stand in front of the mirror shouting, "I am the best!" Then we leave the house, and the world destroys us in seconds. Why? Because we build houses on quicksand. We try to build feelings when all we need is evidence. Stop for a second. Breathe in. Forget everything they taught you about confidence. Today, we're going to talk about something much stronger, more durable, and, most importantly, more controllable. You don't need confidence. You need the right portfolio. You've never seen someone so calm, so sure, solid. He doesn't have to speak loudly. No need to show off achievements. But when he spoke, the room was silent. When he acts, people notice. And we say, wow, he's very confident. That's wrong. That's not confidence. It was a peaceful action. The peace that arose was not because he felt great, but because he knew, based on his own personal historical record, that he could face whatever came his way. Self-confidence is a flower that blooms in spring, beautiful but temporary. Portfolio, the right decision, is the roots of oak trees, not visible but withstand the storm. Let's dissect this. Confidence is emotional. It's volatile. It comes and goes like the wind. Waking up this morning, you may feel like you can conquer the world. In the afternoon, one negative comment on social media and the world collapses. You want to build your life on something so fragile? Want to make your career, your relationships, your future depend on the mood of the morning? Crazy! That's not a strategy. It was psychological suicide. Portfolios of exact results, on the other hand, are cumulative. Every little right decision, every little bold action, every time you choose the hard thing over the easy, it's all a deposit. And the deposit could not be erased by one bad day. How many times have you put things off because you don't feel confident yet? I have no confidence in applying for this job. I didn't even ask her out on a date. I don't have the confidence to start a business. This is the most slippery trap our brain has ever created. The illusion that someday a magical feeling called confidence will descend from the sky like the Holy Spirit, and only now can we act. That's a lie. It's your brain's way of protecting you from failure, from pain, from rejection. But here's the secret. Confidence never comes before action. It always comes after the action. It is a byproduct, not a fuel. You don't wait confidently to start the gym. You start the gym despite the fear, the shame, the inadequacy, and after the third week, once you can lift heavier weights, once you see the small changes in the mirror, that's when the confidence comes. Not as a cause, but as a result. So we reverse the paradigm. We stop chasing feelings. We're starting to track records. We stop asking, how can I feel confident? We begin to ask, what decisions can I make today, small, simple, controllable, that will prove to myself in the future that I am the type of person to rely on. This is not a theory. This is a technical manual. Your portfolio of right decisions starts not with the big things, but with the things you can control 100%. Tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off, you have two choices. Turn it off and go to sleep again, or wake up and keep the promise you made to yourself last night. It was a decision. This is the first transaction in your portfolio. Did you choose the second? Congratulations. You just made your first deposit. You have proof for yourself that your words have value. Then you plan a 20-minute workout. The voice in your head says, I'm tired tomorrow. But you recognize that voice. That's not the truth. It's a defense mechanism. You decide to move, even if it's only for 10 minutes. That's the second deposit. You're building evidence that you can handle discomfort. During the day, there is a daunting task. You usually put it off until the deadline approaches. But today, you decided to do the easiest part of the task for just 25 minutes. Not to finish it, but to prove that you can start. Third deposit. Before going to bed, you usually scroll social media until late. but you remember your portfolio. You decide to put down your phone, read 5 pages of a book, or just reflect on the day. Fourth deposit. In one day, you've made 4 decisions that prove something about you. Imagine in a week, in a month, in a year, you are no longer dependent on feelings of confidence that go up and down. You are now standing on a mountain of facts that you are a person you can rely on yourself. Now imagine 2 scenarios. Scenario 1, you have a big presentation tomorrow. You're trying to build confidence with positive affirmations. I'm great, I can, I'm the best. But in the depths of the heart, there are doubts because you know exactly that your preparation is lacking. You enter the room with a forced smile, a trembling voice, and every question from the audience feels like a personal attack. Second scenario, you don't care about feeling confident. All you care about is proof of preparation. You've rehearsed that presentation 15 times. You have anticipated the 10 most difficult questions and prepared the answers. You even came into the room an hour earlier to try out the equipment. When you stand in front, you don't ask yourself, do I feel confident? You refer to your portfolio. I have done all that man can do to prepare for this. You may still be nervous. It's human. But that nervousness doesn't paralyze. Because behind that nervousness, there is a granite foundation called preparation. That's the difference between building on the wind and building on rock. Portfolio, the right decision, is the stone. It is a body of irrefutable evidence, which makes you resistant to the storm of doubt, both from within and. But how do we know which is the right decision? It's not about morality. It's about alignment. The alignment of your actions today with the identity of the person you want to be in the future. Whenever you're faced with a choice, big or small, ask this. If I were the best version of myself, the version I respect the most, what would he choose here? Your best version may be choosing salads over fast food, not because she's afraid of getting fat, but because she values her energy and body's health. Your best version might choose to finish tonight's report, not because he's a workaholic, but because he appreciates the quiet of tomorrow morning. The best version of you may choose to apologize after a mistake, not because he's weak, but because he values integrity more than ego. Every time you choose like your best version, you make a deposit. And here's the interesting thing. You don't have to believe that you are that person. You just have to act like that person. Those decisions, accumulated, will form such strong evidence that one day you will look in the mirror and no longer ask, am I a confident person? You will know. Because your portfolio will whisper, look at all the evidence, you've done it again and again. Fear does not go away with affirmations. Fear disappears with acting experience. Our brain is an amazing predictive machine. It creates a worst-case scenario to protect us. And the only way to prove that predictions are wrong is to collect new data from the real world. Every time you do the dreaded thing, even if the result isn't perfect, you collect data for your portfolio. Data that you survived. Data that the world is not the apocalypse. Data that fear is often greater than the real threat. For example, you are afraid to speak in public. Instead of trying to build confidence by imagining success, you make a small decision. Raise your hand and ask one question in this week's small meeting. That's it. You did it. Heart palpitations, trembling voice. But after that, you live. You get the data. I can do it. It was uncomfortable, but I didn't die. It's a valuable asset in your portfolio. Next week, you might decide to give your opinion for 30 seconds, and so on. In 6 months, your portfolio is full of evidence that you can face those fears. You now have a history of courage. And that history is stronger than any feeling of confidence. This is the real power. When that voice of doubt appears, and he will always appear, you no longer argue with him using feelings. You can now answer with data. The voice said, you're not good enough for that promotion. In the past, you would try to fight it with, I'm good enough. I'm confident. But it was like screaming in the middle of a storm. Now, you can open your mental portfolio and say, look, last year, I led Project X, and the results exceeded the target. Last month, I solved a Y problem that no one else could solve. Last week, the boss specifically complimented me on Z. These evidences say something different about you, the voice of doubt. The voice may not disappear immediately, but its power is drastically reduced because you are now speaking in a language he cannot argue with, the language of facts. You have moved from the world of speculation, maybe I can, to the world of evidence, I already did. This is the deepest psychological power shift you can experience. You are no longer a hostage of your emotional fluctuations. You become the curator of the evidence of your life. Think of yourself as a bank. Every right decision is a deposit. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you choose integrity over comfort, every time you hold out a little longer when you want to give up, you add to the balance. And just like a real bank, this balance generates interest in the form of authentic confidence that comes without you looking for it. This confidence is different. It's not that cheerful and noisy. It's quiet. It's steady. It is deep knowledge that does not need to be announced. People will feel it for you. They will call it charisma, aura, authority. But you know it's not magic. It is accumulation. It's a portfolio that speaks louder than your words. And here's the most important thing. This bank never closes. Every morning is a new opportunity to make a deposit. Every moment of choice is an opportunity to strengthen or weaken your foundation. You don't have to be perfect, you just need to be consistent. Because one bad decision won't erase 100 good decisions as long as you get right back on track. It is about trends, about directions, about the accumulation of evidence over time. You might be thinking, but my portfolio is empty now. I've chosen the easy way too often. Listen carefully. The decision to start is the most valuable first deposit. The decision not to wait for a feeling of confidence, not to wait for perfect conditions, not to wait for tomorrow. That is the right decision that will become the foundation of any foundation. Today, right now, identify the one small area of your life where you know, in silence, you've avoided the right choice. Maybe that's a conversation you need to have. Maybe it's a habit you need to stop. Maybe it's a project you need to start. Then ask, what is one small action that I can do in the next 24 hours that will be the first proof for myself that a new era has begun? Not to change everything at once, to make one deposit. Just one. Because it is from one deposit that another will follow. You're not building confidence. You are building legacies of evidence that will tell the story of who you really are. And that story, written with day-by-day action, will be a source of strength that no one, by any circumstance, can take away. Start writing your story, one right decision at a time.